Hello there and a warm welcome to the first episode of Assertions. I'm Robert Scott and with me today we're catching up with Bharat Kochar, founder and delivery lead at Assertio Cloud. Now, Bharat has an absolutely fascinating journey from Delhi to Auckland in New Zealand, and his company is doing a great job helping reshape how organisations adopt cloud and AI. Welcome, Bharat.
Thanks, Robert, for having me here.
So tell us about your journey, because it's fascinating. You were born in Delhi, of course.
Yes, I was born in Delhi,
Yes.
and I grew up in a middle-class family. I was surrounded by cousins and extended family, and so I had a happy childhood.
Yeah.
I went to a private school only because my mom taught at that private school, so I did get access to some great academic opportunities. I also had a great relationship with my grandmother. That's a bit about my childhood and my relationships with my family members.
Right, fantastic. Let's talk about you, though, the star of the show. What began your interest in business?
There are many factors that ignited my interest in business, but if we have to point at one, very early on was the introduction to economics.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to the subject in school at the age of around 12. And I was fascinated by how businesses and societies operated, and more so about how they interacted with
Yep.
each other. So that was probably the seed of my entrepreneurial journey.
And sports as well. That's important to you as well.
Oh, sport, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I was always passionate about sport. I was introduced to the game of cricket at the age of around 6 years, and I played many more sports like table tennis and football and lawn tennis. And what I learned through sport was that wins and losses are a part of a journey. So you can't be too disappointed with a loss. As long as you learn from that and take that learning into your next set of challenges.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
What I also learned was that there's always something to learn from your opponents. It taught me how to appreciate what skills the opponents had.
Yeah.
And that kind of shapes your journey, your professional journey, your personal journey. And I was fortunate and really privileged to have had that experience very early on. There's the odd skirmish on the field, but you always learn from it as well.
Yeah.
You learn fairness, you learn negotiation, you learn resilience.
Yes.
And so again, all these things shape how you fare in your professional life and your personal life.
Now, I've never been to Delhi. Growing up in England and in New Zealand would be vastly different. I'm assuming you grew up with limited access. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Delhi is a melting pot of culture and things like that. And when you have a lot of people, when you have less resources, there's always that contention. Now, if you compare it to New Zealand, which is about 5 million people, was probably when I was growing, I was probably 4 million, and you compare it with the population of Delhi, which is many times more that of New Zealand, and Delhi is just a city, and so when that happens, there's always contention, and that has an impact on accessibility. To give you some idea, I had to travel sometimes 2 hours one way to get to a cricket ground, and coming back was the same. And as long as you're passionate about what you're doing, I think you kind of soldier on.
Yeah.
So accessibility was a challenge early on, but that teaches you that when you get hold of something that you really appreciate, you don't actually let it go, right?
Sure.
You kind of fight hard.
Perspective.
Yeah, you fight hard to keep access to those things.
Yes, but coming to Auckland, you must have said to yourself, where is everybody? It's so quiet here. There's only a few people and a handful of sheep.
Yeah, Auckland was actually one of those cities that attracted me quite a lot, and I'll tell you a funny reason behind it. The funny reason was that I actually landed for the first time in New Zealand in a city called Hamilton.
Yes, okay.
And it was a Sunday. And I was like, well, this is depressing.
Was it closed to that day?
It was closed, and I hardly saw anybody on the road.
Yeah.
And so I lived there for around 8 months.
Right.
But when I came from Hamilton to Auckland, that was an absolutely pleasant surprise
Sure.
for me.
Bit busier.
So if I landed in Auckland, initially, then probably I would have had similar perceptions and similar opinions. But because I landed in Hamilton,
Yeah.
Auckland obviously looked a lot better.
Yeah, sure it did.
And it is, and that's why I've lived here for around 15 years.
Right.
And I really love Auckland as a city. It has got the right mix of people
Yep.
and the social stuff that you can do
Yes.
in Auckland. The
Always
sports
something
you can play.
going on.
Yeah.
You're right. We know that also you travelled extensively when you were younger. Tell us about that with your career.
Yes, one of my first projects very early on in my early 20s was in the States. It was in a city called Scottsdale in Arizona.
Okay.
It was for an organization called JDS Software back
Yep.
in the day. It's called Blue Yonder now.
Okay.
And what really impressed me was the scale. What also impressed me was the articulation, the method behind solving problems.
Yep.
And that, again, shaped how I approached building Assertio.
Right.
That had a big role to play in terms of, how I strategized and, how I want to see Assertio shape up in the next few years.
Right, okay. Now, at the moment in New Zealand, let's be honest, the economy's quite flat. There's not a lot going on. There's a lot of people out there worried. How does that connect to what Assertio is doing?
Yeah, the economy has been quite sluggish.
Yeah.
Households have been struggling. High interest rates have, squeezed the life out of businesses. And so I feel that businesses cannot and should not invest in service-heavy transformations.
Yep.
Because, they take, a long period of time and don't actually deliver outcomes at a fast pace.
Yep.
And so, businesses don't really get all the benefits from those kind of transformations. I think what organizations need is compliance-ready solutions.
Okay.
They need repeatable solutions, and they need frameworks that they can utilize on an ongoing basis.
Right.
And that's why I built Assertio, and that's exactly what Assertio offers. It offers a product called PipelineX. Now, PipelineX automates the delivery from inception through to productionization.
Yes.
And be it any platform, be it a cloud platform, be it a CRM platform, you can actually utilize the product on that platform. And similarly, CUSP, which is cloud and AI, uplift standards and practices.
Yes.
That is a codified framework that organizations can use to actually move to the cloud at a fast pace.
Right.
I think Assertio can add a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of organizations who want to be on that journey of digital transformation,
Yes.
but really want to reap the benefits at a fast pace.
Okay. In your vast experience, what do you think really plagues big enterprises today? What's the big issue in your mind?
I think the big issue is analysis paralysis, really. Yeah.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes,
Wow.
I mean that's what I see
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
organizations that I have worked in, and a lot of customers that I worked with.
Yeah.
The intent is to get things right in the first go.
Yep.
But that intent sometimes does not match the talents, for example, that organizations may have at their disposal.
Yes.
There is a mismatch between the two. What organizations actually need is some realism. And if they don't latch on to that opportunity of realism, they will actually find themselves falling behind the eight ball.
Right.
That needs to be understood by organizations.
Sure.
And being aspirational is okay,
Yeah.
but balance it with practicality.
Yeah. On the brighter side, what do you think is the biggest opportunity for enterprises right now?
The biggest opportunity, according to me, is for them to be realistic, to understand their talent, understand what governance they need,
Yep.
understand the appetite for change, and realize that if there's a difference, then they should be not investing, like I said, on service-heavy transformation. They should be trying to latch on to repeatable solutions,
Yep.
codified frameworks, and those are the things that we offer to our clients, be it big enterprise clients or be it a startup.
Yeah.
And so that way we can bridge that gap that persists in some organizations.
So how does Assertio help these companies break out of that cycle?
We've delivered, for example, 6 contact centers in 16 weeks. Assertio won an award at the Tertiary ICT conference for actually doing that.
Okay.
And there was a sizable amount of prize money at stake that actually was given to the client, for which we delivered the contact centers. And that's not a result of magic technology. It is a result of codified momentum. And that's what we do. We bring codified products and solutions to the fore, and by using that, organizations can actually reap the benefits at a much faster pace.
Right. And what role do partnerships play in this journey?
Oh, partnerships have a vital role to play in
Yeah.
this journey, because they're not just logos on a slide. They are the breeding ground for our platforms to live and grow.
Yeah.
But we always bring our voice to the fore, which is grounded, which is resonating with clarity,
Yep.
and always propagating governed solutions.
Let's talk about a really important resource, that being talent. Your people. How do you keep them engaged when things are sluggish, when enterprises are struggling with inertia?
Look, with people, it's important to show momentum.
Yes.
So as long as people can realize that whatever effort they're putting is going to result in something meaningful,
Yep.
That will always encourage talent.
Yep.
So it's important to show progress, and that's what Assertio's frameworks and products do, because they embed into an organization in a nice way.
Yeah.
They can actually provide a catalyst to some of the solutions that organizations need.
Yep.
And that just means that the progress can be shown, and that ensures that talent actually stays with the
Yes.
organization.
Yeah.
And that results in a virtuous cycle, right? If talent stays, they invest in the solutions
Yeah.
and the initiatives of the organization. So that's quite important if you want to retain people. Showing momentum and showing progress. I think
Yes.
that's what people want to see.
Yeah, and they feel valued, don't
Yes,
they, as
absolutely.
a result. So the future is moving very quickly. Everything's going very fast in this world. What is your vision for Assertio going forward?
Look, Assertio was started in Auckland, and the problems that we are solving are problems that actually are pervasive, in the world, and that's why you'll see us, scaling into countries like India. We are seeking seed funding. We are embedding, governed solutions, and the vision is quite simple. It's about realism, it's about repeatability, and it's about impact.
Yep.
And I want to ensure that all our solutions and frameworks that we propagate resound with that vision, that simple vision that I spoke about.
So tell us, who are your customers then, Bharat?
Customers, yes. Look, we're going to do separate case studies and podcasts with them.
Yep.
But in terms of the type of customers that we're working with mental health organizations that provide those services to the New Zealand public. We've delivered digital campus solutions to those organizations, and that incorporates a learning management system, for example, a CRM, and also skills management framework. So those are the front door solutions for those organizations.
Yep.
But behind the scenes, PipelineX and CUSP have played a pivotal role in terms of making those available to the general public.
Yep.
Similarly, we've been working with a research organization. We've delivered a research platform that's in active use now. And the beauty about that platform is the auditability, the compliance that it brings to the fore, and equally the scalability of the platform. You can use it for 10 people, and equally you can use it for 100,000 people in a matter of minutes. So you can scale the platform to that level, and you see the exponential growth in the scalability. Now that is a game changer.
Yeah.
It is a game changer because many organizations in New Zealand may not have the skill, may not have the talent, but may have the need for such a research platform.
Right.
And so by creating this repeatable platform that we have done for this research organization, we've opened up the opportunity for other research organizations to not build it from scratch, to actually leverage this platform and configure it for their needs.
Right.
So, just summarizing it, we work for tertiary educational institutions in New Zealand. We work for research organizations. We've been working on some cutting-edge agentic AI work with a couple of Indian clients. So, look, I am excited about what we're doing, and also about the type of customers we're working with. Yeah.
So tell us about your point of difference. How are you guys different from the big consultancies?
Look, the main difference is that we don't sell services. It's not about scaling people. It's about scaling codified IP. It's about scaling the solutions that we offer. The advantage of that is that scaling can happen at a fast pace. Think about adding 100 people to your workforce, and think about investing in a product that's almost built, and investing in enhancing that product.
That does make sense. And so, what partnerships back you up? You can name drop here if you like.
Oh, yes, absolutely. AWS, partners with us in terms of proof of concepts. Salesforce has us in RFPs. Datadog, which is a observability solution, and it's been used, in many customer bases around the world. So they have us in a multi-year deal with one of the big organizations in New Zealand. So these partners help us and help New Zealand organizations, especially in this time where the economy is not doing well, because you get access to global resources and some much needed funding sometimes, and that always helps in progressing the organization.
Yes. Now everyone's talking about AI at the moment. What is AI governance, and why is it so critical?
It is critical because, it's being adopted at a fast pace.
Very fast.
And so, boards and senior leadership is a little bit concerned about compliance, about governance. And so, that's the talk of the town at the moment. So, that's the simple reason why, governance and compliance is so pivotal in these times, simply because, it's scaling and it's being adopted so quickly.
Yes. I'd like to turn now to a subject very close to my heart and my stomach, food. Growing up in Delhi, traditional Indian food, right?
Yeah.
You come to Auckland, to New Zealand. What's the local fare like? Are they getting it right? What have you tasted?
I think over the last 6 to 7 years, the food scene in terms of Indian food has grown exponentially.
Okay, good.
So on one hand, you have something like a cassia that has a fine dining take on Indian food, and it presents fusion of modern Indian food and some traditional Indian food. And similarly, on the other end of the spectrum, you have a VT Station, for example, and that has that street food vibe to it. And both of them are really good. So you get a lot of variety these days in terms of Indian food. So it's a big leap from the mundane scene that was there probably 8 or 9 years ago, where you had 3 or 4 dishes to choose from. You went to an Indian restaurant and you would order butter chicken and naan, and
That's
so
me.
that has changed quite a bit.
Yeah, whereabouts are those restaurants? that you mentioned?
So Cassia is in Sky City.
Yes.
And VT Station is in Newmarket, just by Lumsden.
Okay.
So it's the corner of Khyber Pass Road and Newmarket Road.
How often do you go?
I used to go very often.
Yeah.
But now, the focus is on the business. So, I can't spend too much money on dining and food.
Yeah,
but
right.
I do make it a point to go, once every 6 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
You've talked about two different restaurants with completely different vibes. How does that connect to your own journey with Assertio?
Well, it is quite similar because, while Cassia has, that fine dining take on Indian food, and VT Station has a street food take on Indian food, we also work with clients and can offer, sophisticated solutions if that is the need of the hour.
Yeah.
But equally, we can offer practical solutions if that is the need of the hour. But, the bottom line is that we always work with our clients in terms of governing those solutions. So there is a lot of similarity between those two places that we talked about and what Assertio offers.
Well, this has been fascinating. You've managed to combine sport with business and food all in the one conversation.
And that's a magic combination, right? Yeah.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for your time today, Bharat.
Thank you, Robert.